Attention musicians of all levels. It's not always easy picking out a song by ear. Sometimes you need a little help. Well, I have the app for you. Whether you're a professional musician or a beginner, Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. For just $2.99, you get the chords and tabs on guitar, bass, or ukulele for over 1 million songs. They're all available at your fingertips. You also get tools like a tuner, metronome, chord library, lessons, videos, and more. You can find out any song you want. It also has like transpose button. It has auto scroll that you can change the speed to so you can play along with the song. A lot of the songs have the lyrics there so you can sing along with them. Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. Just go to ultimateguitar.com or download the app to your phone today and start playing. Start playing any song you want. Ultimate Guitar, that's the place for you. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here are your hosts,
All right. Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did this weekend. It's a really balmy and warm weekend. I played a couple of shows with Skyrocket, and the one on Friday night was outside. And between sound check and when we started playing, my keyboard was just completely covered in beads of water from the humidity. It was pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, but it was a pretty fun show. It was like a rich person's Christmas party. In their backyard, they had a waterfall and an infinity pool. And I heard that Lucas Nelson was there, and he played some songs afterwards with Trish and Darren from our band Skyrocket. I took off because Rosie was at home. My dog Rosie, I left her, had the dog walker come and walk her. And then Saturday, I played a gig, also had the dog walker come and walk her, my friend Chris. And okay, so if you're keeping up with my Rosie story, now I'm a single dad with Rosie. That's my new jam, right? The girl I was dating that insisted that we get her because she really wanted her as a dog. We got her, and then she dumped us both. She didn't want Rosie anymore either. She didn't want me anymore. So I love Rosie. She's the light of my life. But as of Friday, she started doing some bad shit. Like, this is the first time I really left her for a long time. And then somebody came in between the time that I left and the time that I got home to walk her and feed her dinner and do stuff like that. But she ate a boot. Like, she's still shitting leather, by the way. She ate a lot of a boot. And I could tell she was upset with me when I got home. She was happy to see me and she did the whole thing, but then she wouldn't come lay down with me in bed. And she would kind of like walk in the room and just kind of like look at me out of the corner of her eye like, you left me alone. Then the next day, it's so annoying. Well, it had rained all day, so I wasn't able to take her. Anyway, it's a long story. So Saturday, I'm like, okay, I put the boots away. I did everything I could to keep her entertained. I took her for a walk. I took her to the dog park twice. I did everything I could to keep her totally entertained. And she ate another shoe. And not the other one of the boot, like a completely other shoe. Not ate it, but like ate enough of it that I can't really wear it anymore. So anyway, that leads to Sunday. So Sunday, she basically what I'm trying to say, guys, is that she's acting out. And she's acting bad. And now she's just like going in the bathroom, getting a bunch of Kleenex and old floss out of the garbage and, you know, taking it under the bed to play with and destroy or whatever. And so she was doing stuff today while I was doing the podcast. She went and found, a sunglass case of mine and chewed it all up. So she's rebelling. So I've been watching some videos, reading some stuff about things to do with her. And so I've been trying to be stern and also trying to give her a lot of praise when she's good and also trying to find some alternatives. I have a friend with a dog around her age that wanted to do some dog trading things. So maybe when I go play gigs, maybe I can drop her off with her and her dog. And they can just play for hours and I can come pick her up on the way home and she'll be exhausted. I don't know. If you have a dog, let me know. What do you do? You know, what did you do when your dog started acting like a jerk? But she's totally acting like a jerk. Today, she's a bit better, except for that whole thing while I was doing the podcast. Anyway, so yeah, I've been dealing with Rosie stuff. And she bit me. I didn't even tell you guys. She bit me on Friday. It was an accident. We were playing and we were at the dog park. And when I turned my head for 1 second, she jumped up and she bit my finger. And because I had the toy in my hand. So that was a drag. But anyway, Rosie, we're going to straighten it all out. Every time I say her name, she looks up at me. That's right. I'm talking about you to the world. Guys, I have a great show for you today. Bass player extraordinaire, musician extraordinaire, and my dear old friend who I met this dude when I was 16 years old. Bruce Hughes. It returns to the show today. He was on like in the first year of the show. He's an amazing bass player. He plays with so many people. He plays with the Resentments. He's played with the Resentments since they started. He's played with Bob Schneider for years. He was in the Ugly Americans. He was a bass player of Poor Dog Pondering. He's played with Fastball, that band Cracker from the 90s. Being with you girls like being low. Yeah, 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 it's like being stoned. Remember that song? My voice is kind of weird right now. Anyway, Jason Mraz, all kinds of people, and continues to play with so many people. But he's also an incredible singer-songwriter in his own right, and he makes incredible records. And he just is about to release a record that comes out in January 2022. It's called Late Night Polaroids. And he's just released a brand new single that's out now. It's called Sweet Children. Just came out. Great, great, great song. Great. It's a great record. Late Night Polaroids. Incredible. You can find him at brucehughes.com. It was great getting to sit down and catch up with him. I saw him at an Austin Music Foundation function a few months ago, but I didn't really get to sit down and catch up with him. But it was great to sit down. Always great to sit down and catch up with my dear old friend, Bruce Hughes. We have a great conversation about his songwriting, about making this record, Late Night Polaroids, about playing with so many people, about what he did during the pandemic, about what he's doing now, what he's going to do when this record comes out. And great conversation. Always great talking to him. He's he's one of those guys that's so fluid in music, and music just runs through him. He also plays he has that band Sly Curtis that plays the last Tuesday of every month at 1 to 1 Bar here in Austin, that does the music of Curtis Mayfield and Sly and the Family Stone. Amazing, amazing band. Alex Marrero plays drums in that, and it's a big band with like horns and keyboards, all kinds of stuff, man. Great, great band, Sly Curtis. All of his bands are great. The Resentments play every Sunday night at Saxon Pub. Probably a huge fan if you know Bruce, if you're a fan of Bob Schneider. There's like a whole world of, you know what I mean? So Bruce is an amazing part of this musical community, and also the bigger musical community. He did a great job with this record, Late Night Polaroids, available January 21st, 2022. But the single, Sweet Children's, is out now. You can go to brucehughes.com for all of your needs, all of your Bruce Hughes needs. Your Bruce Hughes needs. Bruce Hughes needs. That's hard to say a bunch of times in a row. Anyway, I love Bruce. It was great getting to sit down and talk to him. It always is. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with my dear old friend and masterful musician, Bruce Hughes. Let's get down.
If you fall down, I'll be right there to pick you up, keep you smiling. Fill your pocket with a little luck, call out my name, and I'll be rolling down your block. Too fast for brakes, you don't have to fake it, you got what it takes. Go ahead and make it better than it ever was before. Sweet children.
Did you play with Poor Dog recently?
Yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah. I mean, I've continued to play with them
for
the last 30 and counting years. 30 years of strong friendship and big love music. There was a handful of shows starting at the end of the summer. I went up to Chicago, played the old Federal Post Office downtown.
Oh, really?
It's been bought by a private concern, and they've turned it into an event venue. But it's it's one of those grand buildings built in the 30s. So
right.
It's just got that the Grand Central Station kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's the 120-foot ceilings and
wow,
and the polished terrazzo floor. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the craziest thing is that they have turned the entire rooftop to natural prairie land.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, and it's big. It's a lot bigger than you think, because you walk into a building that size, you go, I don't know how big this thing is. It's the size of a block or a half a block or something, right? But then you go up to the top, the rooftop, which is on the 13th floor. I've been in an elevator with the 13th floor for the first time since I can remember in America, because they have them in Europe, you know.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun. I rode a 13th floor elevator. That was cool.
Yeah.
But you get to the top, and it's just they've turned it back to natural prairie, and it feels like it's about a block big. I mean, it's big.
Wow.
And they had a big stage up there, so that was one of the shows that we did right underneath the Sears Tower in downtown Chicago at nighttime.
Ah, how cool!
And we did a bunch of stuff up in that area. I feel like maybe there was one in Champaign, Cleveland, Detroit, Milwaukee, Summerfest, which was enormous.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I saw the pictures. I was going to ask you what the big festival show you guys.
And all of them. I mean, all of them were enormous. St. Louis.
What do you think it is that band has a real strong following? Is it everywhere, or is it like Chicago and Texas?
We just played San Francisco 2 weeks ago at the chapel, and the crowds were big. I mean, that city's still super tight restriction.
Yeah.
You know, which doesn't bother me in the least.
Yeah.
You know, I like showing my credentials.
Yeah. I saw Dale Watson posted a thing about he's not going to do any shows now that make you show credentials because it goes against his belief. Dale Watson.
Oh, yeah?
He wrote a really long thing.
Okay.
And I read it. I don't normally read the really long things.
All right.
But I was trying to see how...
Was it a long thing on a social media thing?
It was a long thing on social media basically saying that he didn't put unnatural things in his body.
I try not to read long things.
Yeah, me too.
And I also try not to read anything on any sort of social media thing. It's just so much better on the Constitution. The reason why Poi Dog still has such a strong following is because it's still making music, and it's still making music that connects with fans.
Yeah.
And I mean, Frank, I just talked to him 2 nights ago. He's getting ready to go out. He plays with Thievery Corporation. He's a percussionist for Garza and Co. And Rob came to the show in San Francisco, and he told this funny story. He introduced the band inexplicably. There was no reason to do that, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like, let me introduce you. And it's like, no, man, you don't. Frank, this is Frank's. I don't have, Frank's is like, no, you don't have to do that, man. We're good. We'll introduce ourselves gradually,
Yeah.
And talking head style, don't stop making sense style.
Right.
Well, and he goes, no, let me introduce you. So he went out and he goes, when I first left home in Mexico City and started traveling around in my VW Bug around the country, my version of the on the road experience. I had 3 cassette tapes: Mano Negra, The Clash,
Rosie. Sorry.
Mano Negra, The Clash, and Poi Dog Pondering.
Wow.
And those shaped who I would become as a musician. But I really felt like the Poi Dog cassette was the template for what would become Thievery Corporation. It was international world music that was inspirational and full of the power of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
So that's the reason why.
Yeah.
It's because of that effect.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a handful of people that ask me to do stuff, and I'll just say, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about anything else. I don't need to know, I don't need to know about a paycheck or any of it. I'm ready to go do it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to this album, man. Late Night Polaroids.
Hey, it's good to see you, John.
It's good to see you, Bruce Hughes,
When's the last time I saw you?
at an AMF function post-pandemic at the Rich Ladies Party House.
Over on our local university campus.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of May.
Yeah,
Or the beginning of May, I think it was.
maybe.
Yeah.
So it was sometime. It was a fun night.
Well, you're looking even better now than you were then.
Thank
It's
you.
great to see you, man.
Yeah, it's great to see you. We Late Night Polars. Did you record this yourself?
I did, but I did it with the help of.
I saw JJ played on at least the first tune, the Sweet Children, right?
JJ played on. I think JJ played on 4 songs.
Oh, cool.
And Jason Altman from Christabel of late. He played on, I think, 4 or 5 songs, and the beautiful Conrad Chacroon also played on a song, and then there was a couple that I programmed. These are songs. It's just a batch of songs that I felt really strongly about, and was finishing up in 2019 for a 2020 release, and then the future had other plans. So everything was delayed, as the bottom fell out, and we tried to figure out what we were doing and where we were going.
Yeah.
As a planet, as a species.
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
and as people that are alive right now, living and breathing air, and so everything got put on hold, and then finally, towards the end of the summer of 2020, I just realized nobody's working.
Yeah.
So I should reach out. Let me backtrack. This was all recorded in Austin. It was either recorded at my home studio, where everything kind of comes to fruit, and then taken to other studios. Satellite Studio was one. A lot of time at Ice Cream Factory with Matt Parmenter. Love that dude.
Yeah,
a
me too.
lot.
He's a good dude.
And so, we were almost finished with it, and the shutdown occurred in March, and I ended up going in at the end of March and finishing up a handful of vocal things, some background vocal stuff, and then after that everything was shut down. So there were little bits and pieces, some percussion, a little bit of guitar. I just ended up doing it all at my house.
Yeah. There's it's your musical there's not like a style
Not anymore.
or like a thing, because there's a song. What's this song on here that I was like, there's one song like that, the last song, Empress of Borneo, is like a Lennon-esque kind of tune, right?
Yeah. Also, I think maybe maybe the most Steely Dan-like lyrics that I've ever written.
Right. Yeah. There's some Steely Dan-esque.
Purposefully.
Yeah. Yeah. But then there's this song Stars that's just weird, and that was the song. I know people won't be able to hear this until January, but there's like it's almost like a non-linear, or not non-linear. It is linear. Like it does come back to stuff, but it's just weird.
Thank you.
Yeah. In the best way possible.
Yeah, and I really looked at, I love pop music, and it doesn't matter what flavor it is. I just love it. And that song, I feel like in some way was influenced by Frank Ocean and Ye, and some of
Ye, you mean like Kanye?
Yeah, and some of the way that they approach composition from a really disassociative sense,
Yeah.
and also, and I think Permission is a part of it as well.
Like giving yourself permission?
Yeah, I just started saying it doesn't matter if there's an idea and it's, and it feels right. It doesn't matter what the timing of it is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And an ABAB structure is, it's a little, if I don't know. It's great for it's great if you want to put your postage stamps in a row, but it's not necessarily great for music.
Right. Well, I love it. I feel like there's that was the other thing. One of the things that occurred to me when I was listening to it the second time is like, does Bruce Hughes produce people's records that aren't Bruce Hughes records?
I did for a while, but it's been over 23 months since I've been with anyone else in the studio.
Right. But you were doing stuff with people. Who all have you done stuff with? Didn't you do the Johnny Nicholas
stuff?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, all the way up until his latest one. I've worked with a handful of people over the years, starting with Poi Dog and Ugly Americans, the Scabs, Matt the Electrician,
right,
on into continuing on. I've just worked with a English songwriter, pop star named Jonathan Whiskard, who now I think is leading a songwriting business in Nashville, and a handful of other people. But it's an odd thing. I mean, that's production is it's like getting into a real heavy relationship for a really short time.
Yeah,
it can be exhausting.
Yeah,
I don't really know. I mean, I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of great producers and a lot of great engineers,
Right.
And some of the time, I see that the way that they handle their connection to the music, connection to the relationship of the studio, is sometimes by putting up a little bit of a wall,
Mm-hmm.
Working with Jerry Harrison, he would just play Game Boy the whole time.
Oh, really?
And then he would pop up and go, yeah, that's the good bit right there.
Right.
Whereas, and Steve Berlin just sits there with his list, Same thing with Charlie Sexton, he'll sit there with his list,
Yeah.
Take 3, bar 7. There was something that happened there.
Yeah. So what's your approach to it?
I don't even know what my approach would be now, But I definitely learn from everybody that I've worked with.
Yeah.
And so,
I hear myself like in those situations when I'm working with an artist, and I will say something and be like, "Wow." I remember when someone said those exact words to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, and I think the most important thing to be as a producer is as an outlandish drunken ant, basically. It's like encourage, support, protect, and give people, literally the courage and safety and audacity and freedom to really go at it as hard as they can and try to get to that spot. Because as well as I do, as everybody who's listening knows, that that recording music is often like trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes those things happen and the tape's not rolling.
Yeah.
So that's the other secret. Always roll tape.
Always keep it rolling.
Always roll tape.
Do you feel like I know that there's I've been trying to like monitor it and figure out what it is. I was talking to somebody just today about this, and it's that I don't feel like people connect with music like I don't feel like songs and bands mean the world to people like they meant to us, or even 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of fallen off. And I was starting to speculate if maybe all of the quantizing and pitch correction and everything being like machine driven and kind of losing what would be someone's natural character that would come through in those weird timing and pitch things sometimes.
Sure.
But I wonder if that's part of what has lost people, because they're not as connecting with humans as they were at one point.
Yeah, maybe. But I guarantee you that there's, there's a large portion of the public in the world that came up listening to that, and they think it's fine, and they love it, and they have songs that they love, by Bad Bunny that they're overly auto-tuned that they will listen to nonstop for a year. That's just the deal.
Yeah.
We learn to love what we're used to. I mean, when's the last time you sat around and listened to 18 saxophones playing a big band swing arrangement?
No, not a long time ago. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
That was, I mean, how long ago was that?
I don't know.
50 years, 60 years? It's
Yeah.
A lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since it was a relevant thing, like 60, 70 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 70.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the resentments?
Yeah.
What exactly is the resentments now in 2021? You're a band that plays on Sundays, and you do occasional other things. But what is like the status of this band as a band?
The resentments are exactly the same as they've always been.
Which is just a collective.
Which is a collective of musicians that love to get together and surprise each other. And hopefully entertain and delight the audience in the meantime.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like a jukebox that yells back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good description.
But we only play, I never know. This is what the resentments, and as a side note, what Lonely Land, Bob Schneider's ongoing residency on Monday, are for me. They are, they're ways for me to be continuously present.
Right, you have to be.
I don't get to write in anything. I have to show up. I have to show up, be completely present, be ready for things to go horribly wrong. Make sure that, that that if the boat turns upside down, I can get out of the water and be on the hull.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And all of those things are so vital to me, but they're also, there are things that happen almost weekly, if not weekly, at both of those shows that are hilarious or inspirational, surprising, shocking, or just transformative, where I just say to myself, everything is aligned in the universe. This is an incredible place to be.
Yeah.
So that's what the resentments are. Is just, an ongoing great collection of songs played by pretty reasonable musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys that you have a history with, like, I mean, how long have you been hanging with Scrappy or Miles?
Both those guys I've known for, close to 30 years, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah. Was it, was Scrappy in the Ugly Americans at
Scrappy
first?
was the first guitar player in the Ugly Americans. Yeah.
What year did that start?
Pardon?
93? Is that when that started?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poi Dog moved to Chicago. I feel like there was a lost year there somewhere.
And you started off playing guitar in that
But there
band, though,
wasn't.
right?
No, I started off just singing.
In the Ugly Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it was like Sam and Dave, kind of. Yeah. All right.
Who was Sam?
I don't know.
Who was Dave?
I don't know. How do you... this is a weird question, but... what's that?
Is this going to be weird if I chew gum?
No, not at all.
Okay. I'm going to try to chew quietly.
It's an odd question, but it's a very real question. What is your relationship with Bob Schneider like? Like, he doesn't vacation with anyone really, but you know what I mean, right? I mean, you guys have been together long enough. There's like a partnership. Like me and Einar have been playing together for so long now.
Yeah.
That we have this thing, and there are people that ask, like, oh, "What's going on with you two now?" You know what I mean? And we do a lot. We do a lot of like normal hanging.
You do, and I have. I mean, and I have that kind of friendship with. It's like with Frank. You know, with Frank Oral from Poi Dog. We, you know, after we were done in San Francisco, we had a show in Sonoma, and I ended up scheduling an extra day so I could just hang out, and we could cook and just kind of
Bond,
chill, and yeah, and do that.
Yeah.
But it's not exact. I mean, all relationships are different, right?
Right, but you also have this musical, like you have a thing with him that's very connected. I mean, I've seen it on those Monday nights.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it on the road too, but on those Monday nights where I see that you having to be in the moment learning something while you're playing it, that brings, like, there's a trust there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bond there that is extremely deep.
It is.
Yeah.
It's an odd experience.
Yeah.
But it's good, and I have a lot of those. I feel lucky.
Yeah.
Really. Lucky to have developed that type of language and and communication, unspoken communication. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, they're all different, you know. Just like your pets, they're all relationships are different.
Yeah, they are. Like all your pets. So back to the Resentments. You guys have made recordings. Is that the album that In Praise of Holly is on? No, that's another album.
No,
that's Scrappy's solo
record,
album. Yeah. Do you guys plan on making a record, or like I know that last year you weren't doing the Saxon Pub, but you had a really great online weekly show thing going on. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Chip, like he was helping me with Skyrockets, because technically you guys, it's funny because everybody in the whole world, even in mainstream entertainment, like last March, April, and May, was just people trying to figure out how to do this thing a new way, like everything they were doing in entertainment. And you guys were able to do that. Now that you're back doing the live shows, is it good to be? I know that there was like the first one, Scrappy said it was like the Beatles, like landing in New York, like in May when it reopened back up, and Labor Day or whatever, or maybe Memorial Day. Yeah,
it was good. Mm-hmm. It was fun. That was a terrific show, and and that's how it was. When it looked like we were the winners. But the last record the Resentments have made, and we put out 7 records and a live double DVD of a concert in Stuttgart at the Laboratorium with Stephen and John D. So there's a lot of material that's already there.
Yeah.
And we're every year we talk about making another record, and I imagine that we will make another record. I just don't know. It's been 8 years now since we put one out.
Right. It's a long time, dude.
It is.
So now the core of the band is Miles, you, Plankenhorn, and
Scrappy and Chipman.
And Scrappy and Chipman.
Yeah, and it's been that way since 2011.
Okay.
So it's been that way for a decade.
Decade of
yeah. It's good. It's a little it's interesting, but it's the same that it's always been. People end up going on tour for 2 months, or they end up moving to Vancouver, BC, or somebody's gone, somebody's not gone, and it's like an ever-changing cast of characters, but it's the same characters. It's just sometimes they're not there, and sometimes they are.
You guys have been bringing in Gabriel Rhodes to do stuff. Who else comes up and does and fills in when someone's not there?
There's a handful of people that will guest. Gary Nicholson's one.
Yeah.
And when he's in town, great songwriter. Actually did a lot of co-writes with Steven, so there's kind of a connection, deep connection there. And
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know him?
I was there one night when he played, and I
He
think
was
I played
Delbert's
too.
guitar player and main songwriter forever, and Delbert
Okay.
and Steven grew up in Fort Worth, so they were like, they're all like, 70s pals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frenchie has a name for that for our generation called 90s bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been making that the artist development program album.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
understand.
It's going well.
Good.
Yeah.
How many artists are on it this year?
Six artists. What's your involvement? Are you still on the board of AMF? Are you?
I am.
That's your.
Yeah.
I never know what's happening outside of me and Einar.
I feel like, the last, the last 20 months have been insane and not normal.
No.
So we could just, and it's really after a year of not doing something, it's real easy to get into the habit of not doing it.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not doing something can become a really good habit
Yeah.
as well
Yeah.
as doing something.
Yeah.
Just going to pass that along to people that are struggling with developing habits. This is a helpful habit hint number 3. Not doing something can also be an effective habit.
Yeah. A lot of people came back from that pandemic. Like Trish came back I don't have to play all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some
Sure.
people came back, like Scrappy came back like, I'm playing, I'm doing my stuff, I'm starting my own band. And you know what I mean? Like he was on fire. Where did you come out on that? You need to work like I do.
I have never lost that desire to connect, to be on stage, to be a part of the electric circus.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like to do the things that I like to do. I'm not going to do something just to do something.
Right. What?
There was a handful of people that called me up and go, "Hey, now that the pandemic's done, I want to do this project." And this is going to make me sound like a real asshole, but but why not? I literally have said, the being in the shutdown, the pandemic shutdown, has given me a long pause for reflection, and give me a clear direction on how I'd like to move forward to this world, and that means I'm going to have to leave some projects behind, like yours.
Yeah. That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad at all.
No.
Are you going to play out with a band when you put this album out?
But
The All Nude Army is no longer.
no.
You guys haven't played in like 8 or 9 years?
10 years.
10 years?
And then I reformed with the Arms of Shiva, which nobody heard, and that was fine.
Who all are you playing with right now? You got Bob. You're doing the Poi Dog stuff when it comes up. Resentments.
Yeah. Still doing Sly Curtis,
Oh, yeah. I
Which
love that
is-
band, by the way.
which is an incredible feat of juggling. It's hard having a big band, and I tend to gravitate towards big bands. I don't know if you realize that. Or
No, I
notice
realize
that,
it. I've seen it.
there was
The All Nude Army was like a army of people.
no, that was
Like
only 5
six?
people. There was
Oh, I
5
thought it
people.
was like 6.
No, but we did a small show with Poi Dog. We did a full size band with Poi Dog at Summerfest. I think there was 15 people on stage.
Wow. You and Alex make a great rhythm
Which
section.
I love. I love big bands.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's paying attention, people can do a little bit less work,
Yeah.
except for the bass player and the drummer.
Yeah.
We're the ones that have to constantly bail out the rowboat.
Yeah.
This thing's leaking. Get the bucket. What the hell?
For those that don't know, Sly Curtis is a band that plays the last Tuesday of every month, right?
Last Tuesday of every month, and it's
1 to 1.
as 13 strong musicians celebrating the revolutionary joy that is Sly and the Family Stone and Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
Specifically the music between 1967 and 1976.
It's perfect.
And that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Nothing else played.
Are you guys able to rehearse? Because that's a lot of stuff. Or do people learn shit on their own and you guys just are badass?
Yeah, we rehearse. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, but it's hard.
2 guys at a time or something?
It's hard. Well, it's just hard getting people together. When you're trying to dial in that many schedules, it gets really interesting.
Yeah. I saw Jimmy, the dancing guy from Whole Foods from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
I saw him at a show there and his daughter was singing with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to see him and to see him like, that's one of those things that's like so uniquely Austin. Like, that's Jimmy. And there's like a group of people that be like, oh my God,
Yeah, Jimmy's a beautiful man.
Beautiful man.
He really is.
Yeah.
He always gives me a hug and a kiss and a smile whenever I see him. And Pearl, his daughter, just an incredible talent. She's, I love her so much. Her voice is just killer, and she's an aggressive musician. She's a killer guitar player. She's a great keyboardist. Her rock and roll scream is nothing to be dallied with. She's a powerful, powerful voice, and she's young. I don't know how old she is.
She seemed like she was like early 20s for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm just going to say that just to be safe.
Yeah, it was great to see. That band is great. Anyone,
but she's tough and smart and talented, gorgeous. But that doesn't mean anything. It's just part of who she is.
Yeah,
inside and out.
Yeah,
I love Pearl.
I talked to George Reef about this, about sideman stuff, and how he learns. Like, if you were to get hired for something, how do you learn music? His thing was he doesn't even learns the songs before he picks up an instrument.
Interesting.
Yeah, like he sits with them, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I get that. I mean, you have to do that. Part of it for me, when I'm learning material, I have to do it a couple of different ways. And what I mean by that is that I listen to it incessantly. I play along with it. I also chart it out. I want all the information to be in a couple of different spots in my brain. And then, because when you write stuff, your brain records that action of writing something.
Right.
Different than typing.
Right.
And it's different than memorization.
Right.
And it's different than singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all, they're all different parts of the crazy mixed up database storage that we have. You know? So I'll do all of it. I don't want to leave anything to chance. I'll make charts. I'll write stuff out, and then I'll sit down and play along with all of the material. And the crazy thing is that I'll do that, know some stuff incredibly well, get on stage, realize that I am just now, because I have to be on stage in front of people and have to be just completely dialed in, just now realizing what I don't know.
Right.
And I have to go back and rediscover, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that thing. There's that push there. How could I have forgotten that? It's just stuff like that. But yeah, it's a real interesting it's just a real interesting task, learning music, learning your own music, learning other people's music. I often write stuff and then I shelve it, and then I have to come back and learn it when I want to perform it. And I was like, ooh,
right.
What did I do? Is
Yeah,
that weird tuning? How come I didn't give myself a cheater?
Yeah.
Why do I make it so hard?
Yeah.
I played it on piano. Maybe it's better on guitar. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll do all that.
It's funny that you say that, because the out of all the projects kind of over the last decade that I've gotten, where I've like Bodine shows where I'll play guitar and sing the harmonies and stuff, and Skyrocket did those ELO shows. You have to learn the whole ELO thing. the hardest one for me was the Mr. Rocket Baby reunion show, and I'd be calling those like Richard and Brad and being like, "What is that chord in that bridge? What the hell is that? Is it a G or what? What is it?" Yeah,
yeah, but that was your old habit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that we develop? I hope that we develop a multitude of like physical cliches when we play music, whether it's to sit down at the piano or guitar, we just like gravitate.
Yeah.
And the thing that I always like to do is to try to break myself free of that. Sometimes I'll come back to it just because it feels good to come back to it. But I like to break myself free of that because I'm often trying to find a different angle of approach or a different, a different discovery mechanism to try to be inspirational, self-inspirational.
Yeah.
At this point, 45,000 hours in, I'm just like, I'm always thinking, number one, how come I'm not better, and number two, how can I get better?
Right. Well, that's why I think that's why I have all these keyboards. Like in the late '90s, I just was like, I gotta stop writing these 3 songs that I have. Yeah. And I always go to the same thing on guitar. If it's electric,
let me just ask you this: Did you finish those 3 songs?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
No, but I mean like the 3 styles of songs.
Yeah. But what I mean is, did you finish those 3 songs?
Yes, I finished.
You can just put them on the shelf and then write the new. The new styles.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why songwriters go crazy when they if you first get like an omnichord, because it's like a whole new thing, or sitting down to a new instrument. But like usually like all the songwriters I know, if they buy an omnichord, they have like an album's worth of omnichord songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did the same thing with the auto harp, the original omnichord in the 60s.
True. Yeah.
It's like, I can play a C and then go to an E minor 7 and then to a B flat. I never even thought about that arrangement.
Yeah.
That's a great, yeah.
Do you have it in you to teach? Because I don't have it in me to teach.
I did teach when I was younger.
You did?
Yeah, I did, when I didn't have nearly as much to teach. But I felt strong enough as a musician at the age of 18 and 19 to help people that were just getting started. To help them grab the basics and to develop an ease and a hunger for playing it, helping them play the stuff that they really wanted to play rather than forcing them to play stuff they didn't want to play in order to get good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at some point I became a little bit, and I don't mean this in any sort of insulting way, because I have a lot of friends that teach and they're great at it, but I just didn't have the bandwidth for it.
Yeah.
Because it really is. I think it requires, in order to do it well and to do it right, it requires a lot more preparation and stuff that I was actually throwing at other projects. So
yeah.
So no, I don't teach, but if you want to figure something out, we can sit down and figure it out together.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I was asking for a friend.
Just asking for a friend.
Just asking for a friend. Who did that video for that song Monsters? That's a cool video.
Me.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah, I did it. I taught myself Final Cut Pro, and then I just finished a lyric video for Sweet Children that I'm going to drop as soon as that song is distributed.
So you're dropping 4 singles before the album comes out? I mean, they call it an EP.
I think. Well, I did a preliminary taste of Sweet Children. I just put that up like 2 days ago, and I did like a minimal release of that song, and then realized that I needed a little bit more time in order to get everything else prepared and try to get some stuff rounded up so I can talk to some people about it. But I have a video for Sweet Children that should come out maybe tomorrow or maybe next week.
Awesome.
When is this going to be aired?
I don't know.
Oh,
Weird, and I don't know.
Well, then maybe
it's out.
The Sweet Children video is already out. Please watch it. You can go to brucehughes.com.
That's a great song.
Thanks.
Yeah. Are you still in songwriting games and stuff?
I'm still running one.
Running one.
Yeah.
What's your songwriting game?
It's just called, I don't know if it's called anything.
Oh.
It's not. I don't think it's called anything. Why, you want to write a song?
Sure. Who's in it?
Does it matter?
I get intimidated.
Does it matter?
No.
Yeah,
No,
just don't look at this. Just don't look at this the CC line, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but it's just. I mean, who are your heroes, songwriter wise?
I have so many.
Sure.
I mean, everyone
Name
from
3.
Okay, Paul McCartney. I love that David Ramirez.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And Natalie Price.
They're all in it.
Yeah.
So don't
Okay.
worry about that.
They're all in it.
Yeah.
McCartney, David Ramirez, Natalie Price.
I've got to say, McCartney's slacking off these days. He really hasn't turned anything in.
No, he's too busy doing other stuff.
He really has slacked off.
Did you watch the thing? The Beatles?
I haven't had.
Monolith?
I have literally been so busy. I haven't been able to sit down, and I promised my girlfriend that we would watch. She's a huge Beatles fan. We're
Okay.
just like, I'm saving
Watch it together.
I'm not going to watch it. I did some traveling. I could have watched it on the plane. It was like, no, saving it, being good. Other people are talking about it, so don't tell me how it ends. I don't want to know. Do they stay together? That's what I need to know. That's my joke.
They do.
Good.
That's
my joke.
Once you watch it, you'll start living in this alternate universe that we're all living in right now, where they're still playing. They
Which
actually
is
did.
always the universe. That
It was
I've
the
been.
Stones and the Beatles together at Coda a couple weeks ago.
That's beautiful.
Did you go to that?
No,
No.
I was out of town playing shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounded like it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
A beautiful rock and
Miles
a
got
beautiful
in that.
rock and roll nightmare, just
Yeah.
like the Rolling Stones planned it. I mean, aren't they the ones that they've been designated as like the rock and roll outlawed, Altamont, and it's
Yeah.
like all of this stuff. They just continuously seem to set up these nightmarish scenarios that they narrowly escape.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you guys doing a New Year's Eve, the Bob with the Moonlight Orchestra thing?
I don't think it's Moonlight Orchestra.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I just did the holiday shows with Bob and the Moonlight Orchestra.
How were those?
It was incredible. An enormous amount of work. Played upright. It was so much fun. And everybody loves it.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Great talent. Lex Land, stellar. Mac, the electrician, who's got a great new record out, Night Owls.
Oh, really?
No, it's not. Well, there's a song, Night Owls. I don't think that's the title of the record. But he has a brand new record out that's delightful. Max Frost was there. He's always incredible.
I love him, man.
Kevin Lovejoy.
Have you ever heard his
J.J.
imitation?
Johnson.
Have you ever heard his imitation of Bob?
No, but I'm sure it's spot on.
It's unbelievable. Like it's pretty great.
So Late Night Polaroids is
Yeah.
Late Night Polaroids is 12 songs, all wildly different,
Yeah.
all very much Bruce Hughes. There's some deep soul. There's a little bit of.
What's Inside Your Head to me is like a
I love that song
soul
so
song.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's Frank Oral playing all the percussion and
Oh,
all,
really?
and the goujang. I just send them. Occasionally I would send tracks out and say, "Hey, can you?" I've kind of gotten to the. I've gotten to the edge.
You mind closing that window?
Hold on a minute. Let me close this window.
The 10 years of this podcast, I feel like they don't have any set day. They just kind of like get into my Google Calendar and see who's coming over to talk to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's start at right outside his window. Whee!
It's real. But yeah, I sent that track to Frank Oral and who is, I think that might be Jason on drums. I lose track. But at some point I sent that track to Frank and he came back with all of this just really delicious percussive elements, but also had added this goujang. It's kind of the Chinese dulcimer. And,
okay.
And it was real. He had, the big version at his little studio in his shop, and then from that point, I was just like, oh, you know what else this song really needs? Omnichord.
Oh yeah. Hello.
So I played Omnichord on that song.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one do you have?
I don't know. Yeah, there's only one, right? The Yamaha.
There is, but they have different. Like there's newer ones and there's like fancy ones.
I have the one that's beige with time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the one I have. Classic
much like
one.
my teeth, just beige with time.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know what other song I wanted to talk about on your record is "Beautiful Girls."
Yeah.
It's like your new wave song.
It's completely.
Yeah.
It's completely. That song just completely came out of the ether as like this song that I would hear on the radio in like 1983.
Yeah, totally. That was the one to me that was like the most like, oh wow, this is really different.
Yeah.
For you.
It was, but it's good, and I wanted to put it out. I'll never write that song again. I'll never have to.
Right.
And obviously when I wrote that song, 4 or 5 years ago, and decided that I was going to put it on this batch of material because I loved it. I loved the hook. I loved the piano. I had this crazy, like really narrow spin it. And I got Stefano to play on that song. Stefano Tolosano and Trevor Nealon played a lot of keys on this record.
Oh yeah.
Both of those guys are really good.
Yeah, Stefano's amazing.
Yeah, very talented.
Very talented.
Very talented young men. I think they have a bright future in front of them.
Bright future.
But once Stefano played that piano, it was just, it was one of those like student model spinets.
Oh,
yeah. It starts with an A. What is it? Acrosonic.
Okay.
And is that right?
I don't know.
I think so. Or is that the snare drum that I love? No, I think that's it. It's an acrosonic. And they're just thin. They don't really have, from 2 C's down from middle C, there's no throw, there's no bass,
Right.
The high is just kind of, it's kind of plinky. It's kind of like hitting a spoon against an old tin.
That's kind of cool.
But if you play it hard, it just fits into a track like magic.
That's awesome.
It just sounds like a rock and roll piano, and you go, oh yeah, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything to that thing. It just sounds great.
Yeah.
But that song's an anomaly. But I feel like maybe a lot of the songs on this record are anomalies. They're just all bashed together. You know? And there's some weird ones. Like Little Feathers is one that was just an enormous kind of almost Scritti Politti like programming thing where I went deep for about 72 hours and came out on the other side going, whoa, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it,
Yeah.
And Empress of Borneo is, another pretty languid, that one.
Yeah.
But What's Inside Your Head is a really powerful one. Live Forever, I love that one. I love the whole Sly flavor of that. And it's Alex Moreau playing conga and Conrad Chacroon playing kit. Carla, gospel diva, helping me with the ooze on that.
Who all have you been listening to lately? Anything been getting you like, oh man, you're never going to believe this?
I listen to a lot of weird stuff. One of the things that I really love of late, the last record I bought was Cosmorama.
Who's that?
Which is, I don't even know where they're from, but they are an they sound like an Italian movie soundtrack from the early 70s.
That's great.
And I love that. I love Krungbin. I really do. I love Balthazar. There's a handful of other people. I've been listening to this French radio station since the beginning of the pandemic, since about April of 20. It's called FEEP, and I generally will just if I'm wanting to listen to some music, I'll pull that up because then I don't have to think about it, and I start hearing stuff that
Right.
they'll play Stereo Lab, and then the Commodores, and and then Junior Mervin, and and this
Oh, wow.
Stevie Wonder, and then they'll play some Jane Birkin's French
Right.
records, and and it's just and all of it is then the DJ will come on, and it's a woman, and she's speaking in French, and I'm just like, sweet relief.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
You just found it online? The French
Yeah,
radio?
it was passed to me from the Thievery Corporation crew.
Oh, nice.
So it's like all of the people are listening to international music. There's lots of great music coming out all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though the U.S. is a big driver of the entertainment industry, it's not an end all or be all.
No, not at all.
That's for sure. I don't know what else I've been listening to. I've been going back and listening to a lot of. I've been listening to a lot of early '60s jazz on vinyl, just because it's really delicious.
Yeah.
And it really takes me out of the modern pop realm.
Yeah.
But then then I'm also I'll also put on D'Angelo's Voodoo, or
Yeah.
anything that has a wobbly groove.
Yeah.
I'm immediately into it.
Yeah.
I love the wobble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I do.
My pandemic deep dive, I was already a huge fan, but there was like a 3-hour documentary on Amazon Prime, a 3.5-hour documentary on Brian Eno from like 1972 to like 1978.
Yeah.
And, I got really inspired by that whole thing, like everything about it, like his weird discrete music and all that stuff, and like having music that doesn't make you listen to it, that's just happening while you're doing stuff is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever download his random music app?
No, but I downloaded the Oblique Strategies.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing to have on hand.
Yeah.
And it's good because you can just have it live on your phone, and
Yeah.
and have it bark inexplicably obscure inspiration.
Hey, Rosie.
Come on, Rosie.
Come on, Rosie.
Come on, girl.
Come on, girl. This is trying to get to the end of this thing.
But I love so much, and he's been a kind of a quiet but consistent driver of modern music since
Oh my God.
since 1969, 1970.
Yeah. Yeah.
From being kind of the riffraff of Roxy Music.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that
The weird
was,
guy with the tape machine over there.
and the crazy ponytail when it's and wearing mascara. Yeah, to just all of the stuff that he has done. I mean, I loved all of his solo work. All of it, and it was all done on 4-track inch machines that he would just like, I'm going to teach myself how to record, and I'm going to write these songs now.
Yeah.
I
I love his work as a producer as well.
As a producer, he's been he's driven everyone's love of U2 to the top of the charts.
Totally.
It's just,
Totally.
he's a lunatic, and such a lovable lunatic,
Yeah.
I think. And I like to pay attention to what he's doing. He seems to know how to live a full and well-rounded creative life.
Yeah.
Now, I just happened to see Jerry Harrison play at Summerfest with I don't know, why is it escaping me? Probably because I'm trying to think of it. Guitar player, played with Zappa, and then played with Adrian Belew.
Okay.
It was Adrian Belew and Jerry Harrison doing the music of Remain in Light with Taquaras.
Awesome.
And we worked with Jerry on the Vola Vola, the Boy Dog Pondering record. So we got a chance to hang out. And I had a chance to meet Adrian after that show. I mean, and they were incredible. And Adrian's another one who has, in his own unique and bizarre way, has driven modern music to be a little more dangerous, but also a little bit more hilarious, but goofy, almost.
Yeah.
And I just, I said, man, Adrian, it's a delight to meet you. And, I've been a huge fan of just like Zappa and Bowie.
Yeah.
Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Your solo work, and then your revitalization of King Crimson. He nodded and smiled at that,
Yeah.
because he did. He
Yeah.
really breathed new life when he showed back up.
Yeah.
When he showed up to King Crimson, he kind of brought a new thing. And I love Robert Fripp. Don't get me wrong. But I said, but you're such an odd guitar player. He reminds me a lot of Buddy Womack. Buddy Womack is a guitar player that was from here and ended up moving out of town and then moving off the planet this year. I said, you're a unique and uniquely strange guitarist. And he like cocked an eyebrow, and I said, and you are able to coax the inexplicable out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's exactly right. That's what I do, man. And he was just so full of glee about it. And he goes, I hit a note tonight. I don't even know where it came from. Did you see me? I was like looking at it, just full of wonder and joy. I didn't know where it was coming. It was like, you're a lunatic. Such a delightful lunatic. His voice is still incredible.
Yeah.
His playing is, he's a bizarre gymnast on the guitar. I don't know if anybody loves that kind of music, do look up Adrian Belew. He's got a brand new record that's coming out soon.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ben, I bet I could get some guy like that on the show, huh?
Yeah. He's not in the song game though.
No. No, I mean just to talk on the podcast.
Yeah.
He played on a Sarah Hickman song.
Oh, he did?
Or maybe two.
Yeah. He seems like a real down to earth dude.
He does seem like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So outside of releasing this record in 2022, Late Night Postcards. Polaroids, sorry.
Yeah,
Why did I
that's
say
okay.
postcards?
Yeah. Snap.
Snap.
Yeah.
Do you have a Polaroid? Is that where they came from?
I do, but most of these songs felt like late night Polaroids. They felt dangerous and weird and captured and somehow,
Yeah.
Some of them, like maybe they shouldn't be shown to other people, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So outside of releasing that on January 21st, what is your what's going on? What does Bruce Hughes have planned in 2022?
I'm continuing to write. I'm starting to work on recording a new batch of material to be released hopefully later in the year or 23.
Might as well.
And then I'm going to try to become a better musician and a better human being.
That's good.
Yeah. Just continued.
Yeah.
Yeah. And enjoy the hell out of this thing. This short forever thing called life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to keep on playing shows and doing stuff.
Oh, I know that we will.
Okay.
At first and foremost, after the new year, I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break. When I say a little bit of a break, I mean like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, a day or two, and then get back to work.
Yeah.
I do want to go and help. I've been helping Frank occasionally finish a house on Big Island, so I want to do that. And thinking about taking another trip outside of the greater U.S. as soon as all of that becomes, kind of a safer and easier thing to do. Travel right now is tough. It's like all the fun stuff has been taken away, but all of the grueling stuff has been amplified.
Oh yeah. I've thought that since 2001, and I didn't think it could get worse until I flew a couple months ago, and I was like, "Oh wow, I found a way. It's actually worse."
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's just like family gatherings. You learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You learn how to have a good time in spite of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late Night Polaroids is the album, drops January 21st. You can find Bruce at brucehughes.com. You can catch him on Sunday nights in Austin at the Saxon Pub with the Resentments on Monday nights with
I'll
Bob.
be singing some of these songs with the Resentments.
Yeah?
Yeah. And Bob Schneider every
Bob
Monday
Schneider
at
every Monday.
Lonelyland.
At Lonely Land.
Yeah.
He told me before, like in May, we did a podcast, and he told me he was not ever going to do it again.
I know.
And then he just went back and did it.
Well, he asked me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He
You're
goes,
like,
have you
yeah.
been playing saxon? And I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, how is it? And I said, it's amazing. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm never going to play that place again. And I said, oh, I bet you will.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, we were playing.
That's awesome. Well, the song, hopefully Sweet Children will be out. I'll say it in the intro.
Yeah.
You'll know if it's out or not, listener.
Yeah, Sweet
whoever you
Children's
are.
going to be out. Sweet Children's out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sweet Children.
Sweet Children's out. And then Live Forever's going to be out. And then I hope everybody has an incredible end of year festivities.
Yeah.
However you choose to celebrate. I'm
Yeah.
an all in guy. I want everybody to do their thing.
Okay.
I want everybody to have as much fun as possible, as long as they don't hurt anybody else. It's okay by me. And then in the new year, I'm going to put out What's Inside Your Head, and then make the entire record available for
For the world.
all of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You made another great record, and it's great to see you.
Thank you, John.
Love you. Glad
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, it feels like it's it's been a couple of dozen years now, and I love that.
Yeah, it has been. Like, I met you in 1985. That's weird. Katie had just been born.
You were but a lad then.
I was, yeah.
I mean, you
I was
know.
at Christopher and Bobby Dennis's house, and you had just started playing with Coupe de Ville.
That's right.
Yeah.
As an extremely young human being.
Yeah, you were young.
I mean, I
too.
was probably your age now then.
Did I ever tell you this? You had a Rockman. Do you remember that? You had a Rockman, and you had it with you for some reason, and Katie was like in a basket, and you let me like go off in the room and jam on your Rockman.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah, no problem. It's good. It was a really nice, quiet way, to let somebody else,
Yeah.
kick out the jams.
Yeah.
You
You want to sound like Tom Scholes?
That was a fun time, and that was a unique device. And now Katie, my daughter, has a daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, and a son.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you like being a grandpa?
I'm not. I'm Guy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how I'd feel about it either.
I'm Guy. And it's like, and Katie goes, well, what are they going to call you? Granddad? Grandpa? It's like, no. Nobody's ever going to do that.
Yeah.
No. It's like we're all too young for those sorts of,
Yeah.
for that sort of nomenclature.
Yeah.
So what are they going to call you? And it's like, whatever the hell they decide on calling me, but it ain't going to be that. I'll
No.
tell you that much.
You're in good company. My mom's dad was only 45 when I was born. And when my mom told him he was pregnant, he hung up on her and didn't talk to her for a couple of days. And the reason was that he was just, you're messing up my thing. I'm not a grandpa. I'm this groovy dude.
Yeah, you're destroying my rock and roll bachelorhood.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he would take me on rounds with him on Sundays when he'd go see his patients and all that stuff in the hospital. And as soon as I told my grandma this one day, I was like, why does he tell me to call him like uncle when I'm there? My grandmother was like, Carlos! Because he was like, do not call me grandpa in here. Just call me uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, he was trying to, and there's a part of that, but also, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. I don't think it feels right. I don't care. I'm ageless, but yeah.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and cut this part of the podcast out.
Dude, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Sweet children of the night. You neon night.
That's Bruce Hughes. His album Late Night Polaroids drops January 21st, 2022, but you can get his single Sweet Children now available wherever it is you stream and download your music. Go to brucehughes.com for all of your Bruce Hughes needs. What an amazing musician. What a great conversation. Always great catching up with my dear old friend Bruce Hughes, all right? And don't forget, gang, when you're out there checking out brucehughes.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever you find podcasts. Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere. New shows every Tuesday and every Friday, sometimes 3 shows a week, but at least 2 shows a week. Great catching up with my friend Bruce Hughes. Get out there and check out his song, Sweet Children. Check out his album, Late Night Polaroids, when it drops on January 21st. Go to brucehughes.com for all of your Bruce Hughes needs. There, I said it. All right. Have a great day, whatever it is you're doing. Have a great rest of the week. Let's get down.
Like it was going out of style. 100 miles an hour, baby, that's the way you drive. Too fast for brakes. You don't have to fake it. You got what it takes. Go ahead and make it better than it ever was before. Sweet children of the night. Neon eyes sparkle brighter when the sun has finally disappeared. Oh, what a sight. Sweet children of the night. Neon eyes sparkle a little brighter when the sun has finally disappeared. Sweet children of the night. Your neon eyes sparkle a little brighter when the sun has finally disappeared. Oh, what a sight.